Hello, good
Hello.
evening. It's Beck and Deb, and welcome to tonight's show. It is great to have you here with us.
Absolutely.
It's Wednesday again.
Gosh, the Wednesdays fly round, don't they?
How quickly they turn up.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, so this evening, just before we get started, I thought I'd share with you what we've got coming up. We're actually heading off on Friday to our next retreat, which I'm very excited about. We always just love our retreats.
We do.
Yeah, this one is full, but we have got one coming up in June. So if you missed out this time, you can always go and book onto that. But yeah, our retreats are probably one of the most fun things we do. Wait, no. Everything's fun.
If you're going to say the retreats are that, what do you say that we do that isn't fun?
I know. How do you pick what's the most fun? But yeah, we've actually got someone with us this week for a couple of days, and then tomorrow we're doing a lot of retreat prep and then heading off to the retreat. So it's been quite a different week for us here in the office.
Yeah,
actually.
It's been a very different
We've not
experience.
been in the office so much,
no,
actually.
No, we haven't. Yeah, so we have the lovely Barry with us. He might come and join us in a moment.
Yeah, he might turn up on the live show. We had invited him to, and he may, if he's not camera shy, may turn up. So look out for that.
Yeah, because he was saying that he had something to share, so he might turn up in any minute. Let's see. So the other thing that is very, very relevant for us at the moment is relationship school. Beck and I have been working our socks off for quite some time on relationship school. It's kind of an online program that we're really excited about, and we've really put a lot into it. And there's a lot more to it than is already there, because it's actually going to be an 8-week live program. But you can register at the moment, and there is some stuff to get your teeth straight into, to dive straight into. But from April, we're going to be doing 8 weeks live in relationship school. And we're just, really, really thrilled about it, really excited. There's lots more in the pipeline already. There's kind of ideas of what we're going to do and how we're going to make that a really, 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 really helpful, have some really good stuff in there that is helpful for day-to-day stuff, real stuff that real people come up against. Because last week in our Facebook group, we did a 5-day self-love challenge, and some amazing stuff came out of that. You guys, if you were a part of that, just again, thank you. We just had some amazing things coming out for people, and it showed us again that people suffer and struggle in exactly the same ways as we did, in exactly the same ways as if we forget the truth of who we are, forget where we are, that we can still fall down those rabbit holes sometimes. And relationship school is all about the stuff that brings you back out of those rabbit holes, that brings you back into the sun, that brings you back to you, that shows you. And what I really loved when I came across this understanding was how amazing it was that it introduced me to something, a side of myself that I didn't know existed, but it was really helpful in those real stuff that happened to me on a day-to-day basis, like, parenting my children, the relationship I had with my partner, when relationships I had with people that I worked with and interacted with in all sorts of ways. So that's what relationship school is all about. It's going to kind of really dive deep into those problems that all of us encounter.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. So it is open to start registering now. And like Deb said, there is stuff in there already to get going with. And then the actual live school starts in April. So it would be amazing to have you with us. And keep your ears and eyes open, because there are some offers going out on our mailing list. So it'd be great to have you with us for that. So as we started last week, we're introducing competition time to our YouTube show. And what we're going to do at the beginning of the show is tell you what you can win. And then towards the end of the show, tell you how you can join in with that competition if you'd like to win the prize that we have. And we're also each week going to announce the winners from the last week. So our competition this week, what you can win if you stick around till the end of the show to find out what the competition is. We are going to offer one very lucky person their own personal video series. We're going to offer a short video series where you get to ask us 3 questions, anything at all that you think you might want us to answer for you. You can ask us those 3 questions, and we'll do a short video on each of those questions just for you, that you can keep forevermore, and you don't
not going to be available publicly.
Yeah, no, they will not be public. They will be directly for the person that wins. Obviously, if they want to share them with people, that's entirely there, but they will be your video series. So if you enter this competition, you get your own personalized video series from us on the 3 questions you most want to ask us. So that's going to be our prize this week,
so it'll be worth them. Stay until the end of the show to find out what it is you have to do to win that amazing prize.
Yes.
And last week, our competition, we asked you to comment and share with you what it is you had been living and learning and loving. And so we chose 2 winners because, 2 people that commented on our show last week, and that was Becca and Colette. So
yes, so we'll be in touch to let you know what the prize is a copy of our relationship manual.
Yeah.
But we'll be in touch to let you know how we can get that to you. So thank you both very much for taking part. We loved your answers.
And one of the reasons that we're doing these competitions, one of the reasons we're playing around in this way, is because we really love the idea of making videos and making what it is we share available to more people, freely available, and YouTube share these videos with more people if there's more interaction and comments on them. So we are inviting you to comment on our YouTube show because it will help us with that. So thank you very much.
Yes.
So
stick around.
It looks
Here's
like
our guest just turned up.
Guest speaker. Walked in. You can bring the chair
Grab
over
your
if you
chair
want,
and
Barry.
Come on in. This is our Barry.
Hi everyone.
So Barry, when we were talking yesterday, Barry said, something really amazing came to me recently, and I would love to share that on one of the shows or something live that you do. So we are going to invite Barry to share now before we dive into we actually have at the beginning of our show a living, learning and loving kind of section. So this fits perfectly because that's what we'd be going into next. So Barry, do you want to share with us
what you've been living, learning and loving
for you recently?
A lot of it's about rather than being attachment based, it's more about detaching from the outcome. And I saw an amazing quote recently on a television program, just really, really random, that I saw it, that it was actually on a wall. He'd written it on a wall. And it was, when you want for nothing, you have everything. And I've shared that with a few people, and I've also sort of delved into it myself several different times where it's actually really deep. So give it some time to sink in, and it's pretty profound, but it's so true about everything that we've been sharing and everything that we talk about.
Yeah.
Say that again, Barry. Say it again. What is it?
When you want for nothing, you have everything.
When you want for nothing, you have everything. It's one of those, it's like what's the word? One of those paradox things, isn't it? That it feels like it can't be possible. When you want for nothing, you have wow.
And what for you kind of, I know you shared a little bit with us already, but what is it about that kind of struck a chord for you?
I think it's about letting go. For me personally, it's about letting go, surrendering. Just surrendering and seeing what happens, seeing what comes up. And I've done that recently in my own life with money, where I've surrendered nearly for a year, to the process. And I think I shared with you earlier that it was probably the happiest year of my recent life, definitely. Just letting go of that attachment to money and of earning money and having to have money and having to have different things, just surrendering and just seeing what happened, and had some amazing experiences and started to appreciate a lot more things that didn't cost money, spending time with grandkids and family, and just doing walking, and like we did today. An amazing walk today, just looking at some amazing things, waterfalls and views, and it cost us nothing, absolutely nothing.
Beautiful. Thank you.
The thing,
just looking at some amazing things, waterfalls and views, and it cost us nothing, absolutely nothing.
Beautiful. Thank you.
The thing is with the money thing as well, isn't it? When we feel like we haven't got enough money, if you actually stop and kind of say how much, if you could put a figure on it, how much money would be enough? It's a really interesting question, isn't it? Because what I have noticed with that is the amount that is going to be enough is always just a bit more than you've got. And that is across the board. You know,
doesn't matter if you're a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you're poor.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, if you've kind of got, I don't know, if you've got an overdraft, it's kind of like, well, just enough to pay my overdraft off, I'd be happy. That would be perfect. If you've got, I don't know, a £100 float in your bank, it's like, oh, if I had £200 in float in my bank, that would be enough. If you're a millionaire, like, well, 2 million would just be. It's always whatever it is. If you're trying to kind of find that number of how much is enough, no matter how much you've got, enough is always just a bit more than you've got.
Yeah.
And then coming back to your quote,
say that comes right back to the quote.
If you turn that on its head,
absolutely,
you kind of begin to see actually freedom isn't in reaching that amount of money, because you will just always be on a quest. And that is true of all things, isn't it? If you're trying to reach something, it's just going to be a quest, and it's always going to be just a bit more, just a bit more. And yet when you get to that place, when you see that you have enough, it's like, yeah, that's exactly where you're quite.
Beautiful place to be. As well.
And so, so an invitation to play around with Barry's quote this week and see what comes up. And obviously, you know, we're around on Facebook all the time. You can message us, you can comment under this video. We would love to hear if anything's coming up for you. You know, if that brings anything up for you, please feel free to share it. That would be great.
Yes. So thank you for sharing your living and learning for this week.
You say you
stay. No,
you're more than welcome to stay for the entire time.
We've got a visitor.
Barry's got a visitor. So
I'll leave you
thank
guys.
you, Barry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So on with the show. That's great from Barry. So that you know, opens the floor for us to share our living and learning loving. So my living and learning this week. So Barry's here with us because we're doing a mastermind program, and we've spent the last 2 days together, all kind of just sitting together and being in this conversation. And the reason he shared some of that was because of what's been coming up in the conversation. So my living and learning this week has been, we've been looking at situations and scenarios where it really like it really looks like another person causes me to feel something, or another person turns up in a certain way, and so I have a particular experience and it looks compelling that it's that person that's done something and that person that needs to change, or that we need to tell that person what they could be doing better, or how they could be doing it better, or what I think about what they're doing. And we've had some amazing conversations about how this understanding invites us time and again to come back to seeing where it is in us that we need to be looking at something, that it's never ever about the other person, that it's never ever about sharing with that person.
It can look
I know
pretty
we've had some real humdingers in this conversation.
But what about here? What about when
this person did this, and it looked like I should tell them about that. And we've very much, for me, one of the things that we do, and you'll know this if you kind of watched even a minute of any of our stuff, we very much do this around kind of being open and curious, challenging, exploring how it's possible. You know, we talked about a scenario where a couple were out for the day and one of them did something and the other one kind of didn't really feel comfortable with it, and should they tell them about it, and what if they asked them, how do they share that with their partner? Should they share that with the partner? How is that anything to do with them? Clearly it's the partner that's done something. And we kind of toyed around with this for quite some time.
Yeah, we did.
And it was a really amazing conversation, because like Deb and I both kind of shared our experiences and how we kind of look at those things. And very much like, in my mind, it's just an ongoing exploration for me to kind of, you know, I'm in a relationship, I have a partner, and there are times where things happen and I think he did that, or he shouldn't have done that, or he needs to know that I'm not so keen on that. And not just for my partner, obviously, you know, I have family, we work together, I you know, connect with other people in different ways. There are lots of times in life where things appear to happen in front of us and it looks like that person's done something wrong. That's not to do with me. That's not to do with what's going on for me. That's them, and they should be told. And very much like, what I'm seeing again and again this week in this conversation is the place where I need to come back to me more. There's more places where this doesn't look to me like we have this understanding and we share it, and then we get to a certain point, we think, oh, that's it. I'm done. I know everything I need to know now. It's an ongoing conversation for me. It's an invitation every day, every moment to see something different. And I have to admit, there are times when I don't want to open that invitation. I'm not RSVPing. I'm staying in tonight, thanks. And it is like some days I have, or some moments I have that, nah, I don't want to put my party frock on and go to that part. No thanks, universe.
Yeah, not for me.
I'm staying home in my PJs tonight. And, I'm not going to pretend that doesn't happen at times. But what I love is that I come back round to, the next time an invitation comes, I'm ready. I've got my party frock ready. I want to look at this one. I want to keep coming back and looking, where is it that it's me? Where is it that I could have a new view on this? What is it I can see differently here? And we kind of talked about when we do that in some way, when we put that out to kind of the universe, the let's say I want to have a different view on this, I want to see something new in this area, where is it it's me and not my partner? We often put that out with a little bit of a condition on it. I'd like to see something different here, but it has to be a bit like this. It has to be
this or this.
Yeah, it has to fit into this box. Whatever you're going to show me, universe, it has to fit into this box. And so we talked massively about putting it out to the universe in a really open way. I'm prepared to see whatever it is that I need to see differently. And actually, oftentimes, the things that come back from that are way better and way bigger than what we could have anticipated in the box that we'd drawn. And we've massively seen that. And you'll know, we shared a bit last week, and you probably have seen, if you watch some of our stuff, what the journey that Lucy's been on, that she kind of just put it out to the universe. I want to see something different around alcohol. And if she'd have boxed it in, she wouldn't have seen much, and she would have kind of got the box that she'd asked for. And what's come and what she's seen has just been way bigger and way better than she could have imagined. So we've had some incredible conversations in the last 2 days that have certainly, the mastermind program that we're doing is about all of us that are in the program actually having over the next year an exploration together. And I'm already going, I'm seeing something. There's something new I want to look at here. There's things I want to create from this space. And from a place of not having boxed in what I'd like to see differently, or how I want it to look different, but actually trusting the universe. And exactly like Barry was just saying, surrendering to the universe. How can I see this differently? Where do I need to be more open to seeing something different? So that's been my living and learning this week, actually, in the last couple of days. And my loving this week, well, this might not come as much of a surprise, but I'm loving Barry this week. He arrived on Monday to stay with us for a couple of days.
I think we're both a little bit in love, aren't we?
Yeah, he's so sweet. And you'll have seen, from what he shared, he's really getting something from this conversation. And, one of the things we love about the creating the mastermind is that it's a win-win, or a win-win-win-win, It's just getting together in this conversation. We've all come out in the last couple of days. I've seen all of us have an insight moment, if not more than one. And so definitely my loving this week is our Barry.
And Colette and Mark.
Colette and Mark are on the mastermind with us, and Colette's watching. So shout out to Colette and Mark.
Massive shout out. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's going to blow your mind. Right. So my living and learning this week, what I have seen, one of the things that we are exploring, are we all right?
Yeah, Barry's chair.
An empty chair. One of the things that we have been exploring, as you know, those of you that follow us very much at all, is we love to do challenges. We love playing around with challenges. And one of the things that we have been exploring, and certainly me personally, I've been really exploring for myself, is about surrender, and is about how much is it that I have to do to, I don't even think make things happen is the right words really, but it's kind of like watching Lucy change and blossom like she did. I know I spoke a little bit about this before, and it feels like I put it out there, something that was going on between me and Lucy, and then this amazing stuff has happened, and it's like, wow, where did that come from? And so, yeah, it's been playing around with how much do I have to do so that stuff happens. And that's not even the right word. I'm struggling to put words onto it. But one of the things that we came up with when we were having a conversation earlier, it was actually Beck that came up with this analogy, which is just perfect. She was talking about when she does her gardening, and you kind of buy seeds, or you get seeds, whatever, and the seeds are these like tiny weeny little things, and you put them, it's yours, you put them into the earth, and maybe you water them if that's appropriate in the moment.
It's not raining.
If God isn't doing that job for you maybe water them. And then, there's a bit of a waiting game, but magic happens when you do that. And it's kind of like, we don't make that seed burst open and push this. That can become something so strong and have such strong roots, but it came from something so tiny. And I think, like, surrender to me, what I've been living and learning and playing around with is that these seeds get planted, and that's mine to do. If there's something that I'm looking towards, if there's something I'd like to create, I plant the seed. You look at what's there. If you kind of took a seed apart, and if you searched in the soil and you looked in the seed and you looked at rainwater, it's like it doesn't look like the pieces of the jigsaw to this amazing plant that happens. It doesn't look like they're there. Some kind of magic trick happened between this seed and the earth and the world that we live in. And it feels, that to me is kind of this, I've been living that this week, been kind of like, okay, what is it? How much is mine to do? And one of the things I know that Beck and I have spoken about quite a lot is the fact that, we've both been Bible scholars in one way or another at different points in our lives. And I know there was like a verse in the Bible that intrigued me, and I can't remember exactly, and Beck probably knows it a little bit more than me, but basically it is an invitation to put down your burdens. If you're carrying something that's heavy, give it to God or put it down. And if you're not a Bible student and you're not interested in the Bible, that's fine, because it feels to me like you can swap universe into that, and these principles that we look towards are pointing to the exact same thing. If you're carrying something that is too heavy for you, give it to the universe. And that's exactly what it feels like with this. What is mine to do? It's like, okay, there's this burden, and the minute that it starts to feel heavy for me, it's kind of like, well, here, universe, the only thing I need to do is plant the seed. I don't need to make the seed burst open, keep sticking my head in the mud to see what's happened, and whether the shoot.
I love the picture of you sticking your head in the mud to check on the seed.
None of that heavy lifting is for me to do. And definitely my living and learning this week has been around that, and how even things within this universe that look as if they look as if they're not good, and they look as if they're, the universe isn't kind. And I'm gonna share this, which is kind of a little bit of an example. It's been all over the media this week about the fact that Caroline Flack committed suicide, and what a tragic thing that was, and how sad that was. And there's loads of aspects of that we could discuss, and maybe another week if suicide and that kind of thing is something you would be interested in delving into more deeply.
Just to say, we have done a YouTube show on it, so maybe we'll find the link and put it below. So if you want to,
and obviously it's a question we're happy to readdress if this brings something up for you. But something personally that's kind of happened within my family about that is, my amazing daughter, who's got a gorgeous 10-month-old baby, she sometimes struggles and suffers a little bit with being anxious. And, you know, one of the things, she's kind of seen that tragedy that happened, and she's like, do you know what, Mom, I'm really, I'm so blessed and I'm so lucky with my gorgeous little boy, and you know, I've got a lovely supportive family, all this, and I'm not going to let the fact that I feel anxious in this way stop me enjoying this time with my beautiful baby and all the lovely gifts that are around me. I'm not going to. And she said I could kind of see a place where the anxiety could have overtaken me, and she's, this happening has just kind of opened my eyes and woken me up to sort of seeing something more. And so it's kind of like, for me, much as it's tragic that things like this happen, you know, good things can blossom from these things happening. And if that had been a relative or somebody of mine, if I'd have heard that somebody, you know, like my daughter was affected in that way, at least that is something to take from that. So again, it's kind of like, we don't know what's unfolding, we don't know what is going on, but it just feels like when we begin to trust the universe and live in that way, amazing things happen, and even out of tragedies, beautiful things can be born. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going on for me. And I think, you know, my loving this week is my daughter. I just have been so proud of what she has done this week. It, you know, having seen this for herself, I'm just so proud of the gorgeous young woman that she is and what she does day to day. And yeah, I just think she's amazing. So shout out for the beautiful daughter.
Cool. So our question this week is, if I don't control things, how do I know things will happen? And it was I often kind of, when I'm writing these bits on the board so we can remember what the questions and things are, I'm often, as I read them, I wonder what I'll say about that.
Yeah.
As Deb was just talking there and talking about the metaphor of the planting the seed, it kind of came to me that is actually the perfect metaphor to answer that question. It's like, actually, when we kind of say, if I don't control things, how do I know things will happen? Like, to my mind, it's like, start to look at where you think you actually control things. Like, start to explore where you think you are controlling things. Because like in that example, I guarantee you're not controlling whether that plant grows or not. If you plant that seed, you're not in control of whether that's growing or not. The only tiny bit of control you might have had there is that you thought to plant the seed, that you took that one step. And then it's like, I start to look, because definitely I can really see that control was one of my biggest things, and it's one of my go-to places. If I'm struggling, one of the things I will start to do, I notice that I start to try and control things more. I start to try and gather things to me to control them if I'm struggling. And hugely, when I went through kind of my real kind of anxiety and sort of almost breakdown period, one of the things I was doing was trying to control everything around me. I was juggling more balls than I can possibly tell you about. So I absolutely get the trying to control things. But as part of this conversation, I often look out, you know, I look out into the world and go, where am I actually in control? Where is it that my control, you know, how far can I control things? Can I control things? You know, and I just start to play around with that, because it looks to me like just the silliest of examples. I'm 36 years old. Who was controlling the planet before I was born? Has the planet only been in
me,
control?
Because I'm a bit older than you.
Well, that's true, yeah. A little bit older. But it is like, as you start to look at it, you see that, you know, has the planet only been in control for 36 years? Because that's as long as I've been here to control it. And probably the first couple of years I didn't either. You know, I was quite young. I didn't become controlling until I was maybe at least 4 or 5, you know. So it just, and I start to look at that, it's like, where is it that I think I'm controlling something anyway? If I don't control, if I let go of that control, how do I know things will happen? What makes me think I'm controlling it in the first place? Things are happening all the time, and I'm not doing them. I'm not controlling them. the tiny little bit of where I touch the world, the tiny bit of world that's kind of mine, if you like. There's so many things happening outside of that are nothing to do with me. Then I start to come further and further in, and I'm kind of going, okay, so let's say Africa. That's way outside of my control. I have nothing to do with Africa. And things are happening in Africa. People are being born, people are dying, there's great things happening, there's horrible things happening, there's all sorts. People go to work, people get married, things happen in Africa, as far as I know. I have actually been onto the continent of Africa and I've seen a few things happen. But it's, for the most part, it's totally outside the union. I had nothing to do with that. I didn't control that. That wasn't me. I wasn't doing any of that. And so there's things happening that are nothing to do with me. And the closer and closer I get in, the more I start to see, I don't do that either. I'm not controlling that either. All that's happening is an illusion of control. And I can drag that illusion as far as I like. I can, get crazy with it and pretend I am, I can have a whole illusion that I am controlling Africa. But when I start to drill right down, there is no control happening with me anyway. I'm not controlling things anyway. So how do I know things will happen? Because they already are, and I'm not doing that. And I think that seed metaphor is one of the best metaphors for that. It's like, if there's anything that I'm doing, it's that tiny bit where I plant a seed, and that's about it. And maybe occasionally remembering to water. But everything else is done way outside of me. And in fact, when we were talking about that metaphor earlier, Barry even pointed out, do you know what? You don't even have to plant the seed.
Yeah, very often. Yeah.
Birds and insects
taken care of.
They carry seeds around all the time, and things get planted and grow. And you see it, don't you? You see these amazing pictures that get shared on social media where a plant bursts through from concrete, and you're thinking, well, nobody was doing their gardening in the middle of the paving slab. That well, probably not. That seed's been planted without anybody getting involved in that part of the process. We're not doing any of this stuff, and yet stuff happens. So for me, the answer to that question is, start to look at where you think control is even happening with you. That isn't how this is working.
There's something that I saw during this week, and I'm fairly certain that Lou isn't going to mind me sharing, because she's been sharing all over social media what's going on there. So
she's not shy.
Yeah, I don't think she'll mind. But it's a really, really interesting one, the control. And this question actually came from a couple of people had sort of come at this from different directions that we've had conversations with over the last week. And one of them was someone who was who'd struggled with being overweight for a long time in their life, and they were kind of like, if I don't do anything about this, if I don't keep in control of this, I'm just going to blow up like a balloon, and somebody had talked about their business and money and this kind of thing, and I do this and I have to do it, I have to stay in control, this is my business and I have to stay in control, because if I don't, things won't happen within my business if I don't do this. And it was really, you could really see that kind of the urgency behind that, and trying to keep these things in control. And what we were having a conversation with Lucy about what has been going on with her, and if anyone doesn't know, if anyone's watching this and they don't know, there is a video that Stu Newbury has put out on YouTube, and we'll maybe pop the link under this video for that, so that you can go and have a look at it if you don't know. And it's Lucy sharing a little bit about how the fact that she has she's relied on alcohol for pretty much her adult life, and she was pretty young, she wasn't quite an adult when she started drinking, and she's relied and she's relied one way or another on alcohol to get her through all sorts of things her whole adult life. And then she's 35 days,
35, 36,
something like that, days into being alcohol free. And it has actually been more like an 8-year journey, but this is kind of the culmination of what's happened for her. All of a sudden, this seed has burst open, this beautiful thing is flowered, and she's seen this. And what she was kind of sharing, or what I heard in what she was sharing, was that for the longest time, the reason that she didn't actually let go of the control and kind of let go of her drinking was because she held this idea that it was all down to her. And to me, that is what I hear in this person who shared with me about, if I don't keep control, my weight is it's going to go mad. And if I don't keep control of my business, it's going to all fall to pieces. Nothing's going to happen. You know, how do I know things will happen if I let go a little bit, if I surrender to life and let go a little bit of that control? And what Lucy essentially, when she was sharing this, what she said she had seen was that all hers to do was to plant this seed. It was literally just kind of put out to the universe, to God, to this power behind life, whatever it is. I want to see something different around my alcohol. And it wasn't with the caveat that Beck spoke about earlier. Like, if you'd have asked her, she had the idea that she'd done that before, but it was like, I want this to be different, but I can see that my only options are giving up alcohol for the rest of my life, and the options that she believed that were on offer weren't options she was prepared to take. And she wasn't prepared to surrender that and kind of say, I just want to see something different, but I don't know what there is to see. It was like, I know I'm seeing it in this way and I want to see it different, and I know these are my 3 options, so will you make me see one of these 3 options? And it's like, no, that's not quite how it works. It's kind of like, if you drop there being any other option whatsoever, if you just stop, you don't even have to go that far. You know, that's controlling way too much. It's like, if you are prepared to say, I want to see something different around my alcohol, that's it.
End of story.
That's planting the seed. That's it. And Lou suddenly saw that. And then what she started to see around her alcohol, because she saw that, has just been unbelievable. It's been amazing. And it's kind of like, to me, what I have seen around any health issues and anything that's going on for me, it's giving that burden, the heavy bit, over to the universe. It's kind of like, I want whatever it is whatever it is that's bothering me, whatever it is that's going on. It's just like, okay, this is what's going on, help. And then not me kind of taking those further steps. And I recognize for myself when I take those further steps, because for me it starts to hurt my shoulders. I start to feel as if during these conversations that we've been having over the last couple of days, one of the things that I said was that, you know, I've always been the person that cleans the house, you know, for years and years. You know, that was my job, and I would put my everything into cleaning the house. It's like, I would have a cloth and I'd be cleaning down in the kitchen, and literally my toes would be tense, let alone my shoulders. It would be, you know, I'm cleaning like this, and it's like seeing that, no, that's not how it works. There's a cloth at the end of my hand that is going to do that job. There was way less for me to do on that. And I know that is why Lucy is thriving in what she's doing, is because she isn't taking on her shoulders. She isn't believing this is all down to her. She's seeing that there's something bigger than this. So to me, if you're building a business or got all these people that feel as if they're relying on you and you've got to control them, whether that be children or employees or anything, or if you have got something bad is going to happen, it's kind of take a step back from that. That's the invitation here. Just take a step back and remember that lovely analogy of the seed, and remember that, you know, we just plant the seed and then something magic happens. See what comes from there. If you struggle with overeating, or your weight seems like a really huge problem, and that you've got to you've got to always have your fingers on the pulse of this, it's kind of, again, what Lucy did around that. It's like, okay, what else is out there? What can I do? Just plant the seed, but don't stick your head in the mud and encourage it to grow in that way, because that's seeing that, and play with that and see what opens up for you from that. So.
Yeah, it's a really it always, for me, always kind of comes back to, as we were talking about earlier, the kind of looking for yourself, where can you kind of bring this back and in some way challenge and explore it? You know, what places feel safe enough to let some of that control go, so that I can get a feel for how things do happen if I let go of control. You know, do they happen? Like, because there's so many things that are happening in the world that we know we have no control over. Like, I know anyone that's thinking about this question, I know you're not sitting there thinking you're controlling the tides or the weather or whether the sun rises. You know those things are happening outside of your control. So it's just start to look at where else might it be that I could let go of some of the control. And if it turns out we're wrong and nothing happens, no big problem. But if it turns out that something continues to happen, then you get to trust, because what we see is that trusting how this works makes the difference. Surrendering to how this works is what makes the difference. Like, and starting to just put the feelers out, just dip your toe in the water. If I wasn't controlling this area, or buying into the illusion that I'm controlling it, what if something could still happen here? And just playing with that a little bit.
Do you know what's occurring to me here? I think it might have even been something that I read in something Michael Neal put out, but I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It's when I was first kind of around the principles, and I don't even know if it was necessarily a principles thing, but I remember somebody talking about this and kind of saying, well, if you've just got a day, like, a Saturday or a Sunday or a day, when you're not working and it doesn't matter whether you get anything done or not, and you've kind of got this thing, that if I'm not in control and I'm not doing this, nothing will happen. It's kind of like, find yourself a comfortable chair and just sit in that chair and just sit there and plan to just stay in that chair all day and not move. And it's really, really interesting. I actually played with this and I actually did it. And at one point during the day, I found myself in the kitchen making myself a cup of tea, and I sat myself down in the chair and decided not to do anything. And then I'm kind of like it was a couple of hours later, and I'd had all this thinking, and I've got to stay in the chair and I'm just going to sit here. And then at some point I'm at the work surface in the kitchen and the kettle's on and I'm like, oh, oops,
what happened? How did that happen?
What happened? I'm making up a cup of tea. And it's like, we don't do nothing. It's ordinary, well-balanced, healthy human beings don't not do anything. At some point we notice that we're making a cup of tea. We notice that we've moved. And a part of this, I think one of the other things they said was, stay sitting until something urges you to move. And I know, like, when I did it, I didn't even notice that I'd obviously kind of gone somewhere in my head or whatever, and then the next thing I'm at the work surface, and it's like, wow, life happens through us. I obviously had the thought to make a cup of tea and was doing it before I'd even kind of noticed that was what was going on for us. And it's really, really interesting to kind of play around with that and see, as human beings, it's not usual that we just do nothing. And certainly the people that, in my mind, the people that are kind of like, oh, I watch my weight, to the last letter. I'm always obsessive about it. You are not going to not do anything. If you are the person who's working hours and hours, you're looking after your children, you're looking after whatever it is, all these things that you're doing. And if you think, if I drop that, I won't do anything, trust me, you're gonna do something. Human beings don't. That's part of the magic. That's the same, you put a seed in the soil and add, sunshine and rain, or let the universe add sunshine and rain, and you can't stop what is going to happen. If that's what's, if the seed is a good seed and it's in earth like that, try stopping it. That have you ever tried to pull up your weeds and stop this? No, it's a hard job to actually stop
weeds.
Even flowers, it's a harder job to actually stop them. Once that process, and human beings are the same. Life lives through us. Trust me. If you think, all that stuff is stuff in your head that weighs heavy on your shoulders. And notice when it's weighing heavy on your shoulders, and give this over to the universe. And it's an invitation to play, an absolute invitation to play.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers the question. Our topic this week is the missing piece.
Ooh.
And that's PEACE.
It's not that you're doing a jigsaw.
Yeah, I'm not doing a jigsaw. I'm wondering if anyone's got my jigsaw piece now. It's a very clever play on words, the missing piece.
Oh, I see.
But what is interesting is I think it was me that suggested the topic last week, wasn't it?
This is your topic.
And then as I've written it on the board, I've gone, oh, this isn't correct because piece isn't missing. Because by talking about the missing piece, we're almost implying that there's something missing. We're almost implying that you've got to go out looking for something. And maybe the topic was that on purpose so that I could explain that you don't.
Oh, that's it.
That's the topic done, yeah. It's
there
not
isn't
missing.
One. There's no missing piece.
Piece
the
is not
jigsaw
missing.
Is complete.
It's there. It's exactly where it's always been. It's, there's a really famous story, and I'm not going to remember the names of the characters, but it's maybe a Hindu story where one of the Hindu gods.
Yes, I think it is. Or I think there's different. I'll give you my version.
This is the Becky version of the story, that the gods at the beginning of creation all got together and were talking about where to do peace, like where to put the kind of secret of the universe, the peace, the love that all human beings were going to be looking for. And so they've got this world of human beings. I told you it was the Becky version. This is nothing like what it sounds like, really, I don't think. But there are all the gods are gathered, and they're trying to decide where to keep peace. Where should they put it? And they kind of, they say we're going to put it somewhere that humans won't think to look for it. So one of the gods says, oh, I know, we'll put it right at the top of the highest mountain. Great plan. And then another one says, no, actually, at some point human beings are going to go looking. They're going to go to the highest mountain. They're going to crack that one and they'll find it. And then they say, oh, no, I know, we'll put it at the very depths of the ocean. And another god says, nah, do you know what? I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to go to the depths of the very ocean and they'll find it. Or we could put it out in space. No, I think they'll go looking there. They'll go all the way out as far as they can possibly get, and they'll stumble across it. I've got it, says another god. We'll hide it inside. They'll never look there. And that, to me, is the crux. It was a great version, wasn't it?
It was brilliant.
I'll find the real version.
I've ever heard.
It's nothing like that, but it is. That's the point. That's the crux of it. That's the crux of it. The crux of this topic is exactly that. The peace that we think we are missing. And, replace peace with anything that you appear to be looking for.
Yeah, love, wisdom.
Yeah, confidence, clarity, happiness. It's not actually missing. It's not at the top of the highest mountain. It's not in the depths of the ocean. It's not in space. It's not in another person. It's already inside of you. And I don't actually mean literally, that's a metaphorical story. It's not, don't try and clamber inside. I don't even know how that would work. It's that before thought. We talk a lot about thought. And for me, when I first came into this conversation, exploring what thought was, how thought worked, was huge for me. Because like I said earlier, I tried to control everything. And that was coming from believing my thinking. It was believing that my thoughts were telling me that life was out of control. And I was looking for that peace and that happiness. And all my thoughts kept telling me was, if you manage to control this and this and this and that person and that situation, you'll be fine. You'll have your peace. And I did all of that, or I appeared to do all of that. I believed my thinking and I did stuff. And guess what? I just felt the exact opposite of peaceful. And to me, that peace is beyond that thinking. It's all before it or underneath it, kind of whichever metaphorical way of looking at that makes most sense. Like for me, I'm quite a visual person, so I kind of imagine thoughts that's just flowing. And it is about seeing that the thinking that's going on, the crazy whirring thinking thoughts that are happening up here, they are just obscuring that peace. That peace is there, as those gods that, were talking at the beginning of time, that it's already there before we've had any thoughts. And the more we start to look and notice that that's where it lives in us all the time, beyond those thoughts that we're having, the more for me that I notice that those thoughts are actually see-through. They're not like, they're not solid brick walls. We think they are. We've got thought set up as a solid brick wall. And the more that I kind of go, is it? What if peace is there anyway? I start to see that thought is see-through, and I don't have to take it as a solid brick wall, and my peace is always available. It's not missing at all. It's actually just sitting there quietly underneath all my thinking, going, I'm here when you want to look for me. If you want to find out where I am, I'm here. And it just quietly keeps telling me that. And I've just spent more and more of my time opening my ears and listening for it, paying less attention to the thoughts and the thinking and this stuff up here, and listening more, attuning my ears to listen out for that peace. Where is it? Where does it, how is it that it's inside of me? What does that mean? Can it be there no matter what thinking's going on? No matter what stories are whirring in my head? No matter how many times I think I should be controlling something, is that peace there anyway? And so it isn't missing. It's actually hidden in plain sight.
It is interesting, isn't it, how many of us can feel that we are incomplete, can feel that there is something missing, there is something wrong with us. And yeah, I can remember feeling like that for a very, very long time, as if, there's something not quite right about me, or, and if when good things did happen, I'd be kind of like, gosh, if somebody actually finds out, I'm going to lose that again, because it didn't feel as if I was good enough. It certainly felt like there was something missing from me. And definitely, I think we all, whether we know it or not, and whether we mean to or not, we all search for happiness or peace or love or whatever, whatever word you want to put on it. It is, I think we kind of are all on that search. And it is because we are searching for the truth of who we are. And it's almost like, in the same way, like I'm watching my little grandson at the moment, and he's started to crawl a little while ago, and he's now, my daughter says, towards walking. It's not going to be very long until he actually starts to take some steps. And it's like, nobody has taught him that. We've all loved him and encouraged him, and made all the right noises when he does the right things, as you do. But it's built into him, to me, that one way or another, whether it outwardly and obviously looks like this or not, we human beings, part of our DNA, part of us when we grow up, is we start to look for something. We start to look for a deeper meaning about who we are. And, whether we totally misunderstand that and are on a quest for money, or are on a quest for, whatever it is we're doing out in the world to be a success, that to me is a version of this same search. It's because, why would we want more money? Why would we want our business to be a success? Why would we want our children to grow up and be happy and healthy? Because we want peace of mind and happiness ourselves. If you stripped it back, that's what it would be. Why do I want my daughter to be happy? What happens to me when my daughter is happy? I feel good. So why is it, if I stop up, why is it I would want that? And it's kind of seeing that actually life works the exact opposite way around. And this, bringing it back to ourselves, this seeing that those things are inside, and it goes right back to my living and learning again this week. It's beginning to see that if I stop and look and think, okay, I want my daughter to be happy. Why do I want my daughter to be happy? Because I want to feel peace of mind. And what I have seen more and more and more is that if I have peace of mind, my daughter's happy. It actually works the other way around. Or that is the best way to achieve that. Everything that I battle and try and do on the outside, it doesn't work that way around. When I come back to my own peace of mind, when I look within me, like that beautiful story that you told, Beck, when I realize that this thing that I am searching for, this happiness, this reason that I want my business to be successful and my daughter to be happy and my grandson to develop in the right way, all of those things are because I want to find this missing piece. And it's like, if I find the missing piece, all of those things are just going to be exciting and fun and a game. Whereas if I am hanging that missing piece, if I'm searching for that missing piece in those things, then we're going to ask those questions like, if I let go of control, you know, all of this is going to implode, nothing's going to happen, or something bad is going to happen. It comes because we've got that the wrong way around. And so knowing that our wholeness and completeness, this missing piece, love, whatever label it is you want to put on it, that's already yours. You've already got that. And even when we go, you know, even when we take it to money, I know Barry kind of alluded at the beginning of the show, you know, money had been his thing. And then he's kind of looked at that, and he's actually had one of his best years that he can think of. And it's like, even money is part of this energy. Money isn't outside of life. It isn't something separate. It isn't something that isn't included in this. And even when we see that in the same way, when we begin to see that if we are trying to get money so that we can be happy, if we find our happiness, the money will follow. If we find our happiness, our daughters, our jobs, our business, our weight will sort itself out. And definitely that is what Lou saw around the alcohol when she'd got all this stuff hanging on it. It was this huge job. When she looked within and saw her okayness and just took the next step, magic started to happen.
So it's competition time.
So if you stayed with us right to the end of the show, if you're watching. So what was the prize again? Remind us.
This week our prize is to win your own personal short video series from us. If you're the winner of this competition, we are going to give you the opportunity to ask us 3 questions. And we will do a short video on each of those questions that is entirely for you only, your eyes only. It won't be public videos. They will just be for you, our winner. And you can ask us any 3 questions you like. You know, if you listen to these shows or see us in other places and you think, kind of wished I could ask them this. I wish they'd do that. You get to do that, and we will make a video especially for you to answer that question. And you'll get 3 questions, so it's quite a prize. So Deb, do you want to share, because it was your idea?
I will share
this week's competition was.
The competition is, and just to kind of make it clear with those questions, you can email us or private message us what those questions are. You don't have to public share, and the videos won't be public. They are your personal videos to keep forever. So you know, this doesn't have to be a public thing. So you know, this will be between us and you, and it won't go any further if you know, if that's how it is. So the competition was, we had the lovely Barry with us at the beginning of the show. If you didn't see that, go back and watch it. So and Barry is Barry the Bookman.
That's how he's known amongst his friends.
Absolutely. He has a business called Knowledge is King, and he has a mailing list that he sends out, an inspirational book of the month. And so he shares beautiful things. You know, I have an absolute deep love for books, and I know Beck is the same. We just adore books.
Just trying to see if we'd got his book on the shelf. Actually,
we did. It is somewhere, isn't it? We've got so many there. I can't see it. Is it this one?
See it? Can you find it?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes,
that's his actual book.
This is Barry's book. Barry.
But he also shares
Phillips. Yes, this is his actual book. But yeah, his business is selling books, and he shares beautiful and amazing inspirational books with people. So our competition this week is for you to share in the comments, to comment underneath this video and comment with a book that has been life-changing for you, because I just think it would be really see what other books people are reading. You'll have to do it after the live show has finished.
Yeah.
So don't put in the comments now. Interaction on YouTube, and share them with more people so we can keep doing great videos for you with great content. So if you wait until this is finished, and you need to, if you're on YouTube, you will need to scroll down. There'll be other videos, probably a list of other videos underneath this video. So kind of scroll down,
keep going, and then
and at the bottom there is
comment.
a box to comment. So we would absolutely love your comments. We would love you to share a book that has been life-changing, or just an amazing book that you've read.
Yeah.
And next week we will announce the winners of this week's competition.
Yes. So there are plenty of ways to work with us. A few we've talked about, and Relationship School is coming up. So look out for information on that, or check it out on our website. We'll be live in our Facebook group tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with our next challenge day. We're back on challenge day. And next week, our topic is going in a different direction. And our question next week will be, how do I recognize my wisdom? So thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for joining us.
Make sure to join in with the competition.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And have a great evening.
Have a great week, and see you soon. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.